Hey everyone, it's Jeff Haynes from Tech Bargains. Now, we've shown you plenty of entertainment, lifestyle, and productivity apps and products, but we also like playing games from here and there when we have free time. So today I'm going to show you Battleheart. It's a recent app that was released on the App Store for about $2.99, and you can find it for the iPad, the iPod Touch, and the iPhone. Now, Battleheart is one of those titles that's kind of easy to learn, but a little hard to master thanks to the unique mix of role-playing game and real-time strategy elements that helps it to stand out from a lot of the other apps that are on the market. So, the basic premise of the game revolves around a once peaceful land that's become overrun with a lot of monsters. The king looks to you to actually assemble a team of heroes to basically go through the entire land and eliminate these creatures to help restore peace. You fill the team of up to 4 separate warriors to eliminate these creatures, and, you'll fight the typical monsters that you can expect within most fantasy games, like skeletons, goblins, bats, other weird things like that. But what makes it stand out is kind of the mechanic that you use to control your characters. As you can see, I basically draw a line from one place to the other, and that helps my characters move. It's also how I can make them attack each monster that they see on screen, because if I draw from like that knight to that skeleton, he will move up and he will start to attack that creature. Attacks will go on until that creature has been destroyed, or until you move your character from one place to another. What also happens, especially if you tap on a character, is you'll see these special powers at the top left of the screen, and you can trigger those in battle to, cause different effects like special attacks, armor, other things like that. And I'll actually get to that in a little bit. So let me exit out of this battle really quickly. In between battles, whether you win a battle or you retreat from it or whatever, you end up going to this basic town screen, which is essentially your hub page where you'll be able to access different areas for your characters, manage the party, your equipment, and your abilities. So the first option is your armory, where you'll be able to, look at the pieces of equipment in your inventory, accessorize and equip items to make your character stronger. In this case, that would make them weaker. But you can also use the armory to upgrade weapons. So, for instance, I can select the wizard right here and select his staff, and I can upgrade that and make him a lot more powerful when he goes into battle. If I exit that and I go over to the merchant screen, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can buy and sell any items that you happen to have in your inventory itself. Now, the merchant won't always provide new items, or sometimes even the best items for your characters. For instance, if you look at this sword, I've got the exact same one for my character, so I'm not really going to see much of an advantage right there. But if I select that, I can tell that that's not really going to work out well for my healer, and I can sell that back and get a little cash that I can use for other purchases. But it'll at least indicate certain things for different characters, especially some of the ones that you might not be paying a lot of attention to, so you have an idea of how to accessorize everybody. The Academy is a separate tab where you can access those powers that I told you about a little bit earlier. Powers are class-specific, so as you can see, my 2 knights have very similar powers, but my cleric has a lot of healing abilities, and my mage has a lot of destructive spells. Each class has either passive traits or active traits. So if you look back at the knight, you'll see that this is a passive trait, so he always has that, versus this, which is an active trait with a cooldown period before they can be used again. And I can toggle any one of these skills in between battles to suit my own personal needs. Since each character gains a new skill or a new power every 5 levels, I can tailor these characters to suit my own personal play styles. The final thing that you'll see are the tavern and the keep, where you'll be able to manage your party and swap them in and out for different characters that you acquire. Now, this also brings up a few issues with part of the system. For instance, if I go over to the tavern, you'll notice that I can't hire anybody else, and that's because I've already hired my maximum allotment of characters. You can only have 12 at any point in time. Once you hire them, however, you can't fire them, and so if they're purchased at a very low level, you can't sell them back and get ones at a higher, more powerful skill level at any point in time. So that can sometimes cause a little micromanagement of every warrior so that you can make sure that you develop everybody equally. But if you find that you really connect to a group of warriors, you don't necessarily need to trade them out, especially because if one of them dies, you don't actually lose them in battle. So what actually is nice about Battleheart's battle system is that you can replay any of the levels that you want at any point in time and try different tactics. As you can see, they're checked off when you pass the level. And that gives you a lot of flexibility. What's also cool is that, getting into a fight really is very quick. Stages are only a few minutes long, so you don't really have to feel like you're, dedicating a whole afternoon to leveling up your characters or constantly fighting battles, whereas you might have that issue with some console games or PC games where you feel like you have to really invest a lot of your time. But you can also put your warrior skills to the test in arenas that are scattered throughout each specific land or area that you fight in. And you'll go through these never-ending waves of monsters until you're defeated, and the number of waves that you defeat actually equates to the number of items and the quality of the items that you receive. But there are a few issues that wind up popping up every now and then with battle. For instance, you can only control essentially 2 characters at once, even if you're trying to do things at the same time. I can only really manipulate 2 characters before the game disregards my inputs. Another issue that winds up popping up is that you can't really trigger multiple superpowers at the same time. For instance, if I wanted this night and that night to use the same powers, I have to basically swap back and forth between each one, and there's still a lag in between doing that. And the final thing that you'll notice, especially on a character like this, where I'll have multiple people attacking him, is that they'll sometimes stack up. And so sometimes it's a little bit harder to indicate which character I want to do a specific attack or a specific move until somebody moves out of the way. And that winds up getting a little complicated. You can't actually do like a group drag select move and send people one direction or another. However, it's a very fun and accessible game. It's clearly inspired by a lot of the older 8-bit Final Fantasy games in terms of its art style. And even with the issues that you'll find, it's still really addictive gameplay-wise. Apart from the issues that I mentioned earlier, I'd love to see multiplayer added in so that you could test your skills and your party skills against another player, or, additional party slots or even new characters. But as of right now, it's one of those games you could easily lose yourself in whenever you've got some free time. So, that's a quick look at Battleheart. If you like this video and you want to get more of the latest unboxings, app reviews, and video reviews of products, be sure you go to our channel at www.youtube.com/user/techbargains and make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure that you select the option for email alerts so you get informed whenever we post a new video like this one. Thanks a lot.